Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. Starting with a major story from Washington, D.C., nearly 60 congressmen, precisely 59, have written a letter to President Trump. This letter bears the signatures of all 59 congressmen and demands visa restrictions. Specifically named in the letter is Mr. Mohsin Naqvi and his associates. Naturally, this includes all his accomplices and facilitators, among whom is Field Marshal Sahib and many others. These 59 congressional members sent the letter to President Trump around noon on Thursday, US time. As I said earlier, exactly 59 members of Congress have signed it. This is a very impactful letter. Many of you often ask, such efforts have happened before and continue even now. What comes out of them? In diplomacy, outcomes are rarely black and white. Previously, Pakistani generals were misled by some individuals here who succeeded in deceiving them. These individuals, although doing some genuine work, were contributing only 5 to 10% to the overall effort. Yet their photos were presented as if they were doing the main diplomatic work. This misled the generals into believing these people were leading the charge. So, when you ask, what good is this? Just imagine the kind of pressure the generals were under. They invited Pakistanis from abroad, used their own people within the system, and those people, perhaps thinking they were doing something significant, were actually being fooled, both by the generals and by the brokers operating between them. In Pakistan, these individuals met with the Director General of ISI. If you think that such diplomatic letters and advocacy in Congress have no effect, then why would such extensive efforts be made? Why would brokers be deployed, doctors taken along, or so much trouble endured? However, there was some deceit by the brokers who didn't have access to the real power players. They grabbed hold of smaller players, those who could get signatures from just 4 or 5 congressional members. Meanwhile, the larger Pakistani group, numbering in the hundreds, had access to dozens of congressional members, not just a few. The brokers did not have access to this larger group. They sold the generals a false narrative that these were the real Pakistani Americans doing all the advocacy. The DGISI then met with them thinking, let's take control of them and we'll shut down this entire operation. The whole idea was sold to the generals through the brokers. We'll bring you these people, shut down the advocacy efforts. These people were then taken to meet the generals, given top protocol, hosted at ISI mess halls, dined with them, received at the airport in luxury vehicles, and so on. But now, with the release of this new letter, there's a new problem. If the earlier group was the real one, then who is behind this new letter? Because this is the second major effort after the earlier HR 909 resolution, which had, if you remember, around 367 votes in Congress. That resolution was also brought by the same core group, PAC. This new letter, with 59 congressional signatures, once again outlines the human rights violations in Pakistan. Mohsin Naqvi is specifically named, and the demand is made to impose visa and travel bans on him and his associates. Now you may ask, why was Mohsin Naqvi named and not Field Marshal Sahib? I'll tell you in a bit. But the letter explicitly states that sanctions should be imposed not just on Mohsin Naqvi, but also on his associates and anyone involved in the oppression. PAC is behind this letter too. I'm explaining this in detail so you understand. The package delivered to the generals was not completely fake, but it only represented 5 to 10% of the actual advocacy impact. Unfortunately, that diluted our movement's strength by that much, maybe more. It may have discouraged others as well, causing a further 5 to 7% loss in momentum. But the real power center of this entire advocacy effort has always been the larger community group that continues working consistently. The brokers had no access to this core. They couldn't lure them to Pakistan or sell them out to the generals. So the earlier success with HR 909 and now this letter with 59 signatures, both have come from that same core group. Now the generals will surely be asking their brokers, you said that was the real group. So then who are these people who got 59 congressional signatures? This is a major breakthrough. because the generals were deceived. Small players were made to look like giants, and the generals thought they'd conquered the whole battlefield, when in reality they had only taken a small outpost. The real stronghold was somewhere else entirely. That stronghold has now struck again. First HR 909, now this letter. Now let's address those who criticize that Field Marshal Sahib's name isn't in the letter. Yes, some well-meaning individuals wish his name was included too. Their concerns are valid and their intentions sincere, but they are individuals. They can perhaps get 1 to 4 congressional signatures. The organization behind this letter, PAC, is massive, with hundreds of members and around 30 active workers coordinating everything. When the proposal was put before their board, they discussed, who do we have solid evidence against? Mohsin Naqvi was the only one on record. He gave a television interview in which he said, if they don't stop, we'll open fire. This was clear evidence of him taking ownership of the operation, so it was easier to name him in the letter. If a congressional member asked for proof, they could provide that clip. Also remember, Mohsin Naqvi is closely connected to Field Marshal Sahib. He is a relative and was appointed by him. So if sanctions are imposed on Mohsin Naqvi, they could very well extend to Field Marshal Sahib next. Ideally, Field Marshal Sahib's name would be in the letter too. But even without it, we should appreciate the progress made. We should thank those who did the work, and if someone wants to do better, they should either do it themselves or join the effort and contribute more. Some people will try to portray this as a negative, claiming the letter is useless because it doesn't name the Field Marshal. That's simply wrong. Even if his name were there, if the effort had no impact, it would be meaningless. The real win here is that 59 congressional members have said, yes, human rights abuses happened in Pakistan. They have pointed to a specific individual, Mohsin Naqvi, who is on record threatening violence. Hence, they've demanded sanctions on him and his associates. That indirectly includes Field Marshal Sahib and others too, because they are part of the same system and operation. This is a major and positive development. Now the question is, will anything come out of this? No one can say for sure. That's how diplomacy works. You make continuous efforts without knowing what will click. It's like bowling in cricket. You bowl over after over, sometimes get hit, sometimes nothing happens, but you keep bowling. You don't give up. Similarly, in advocacy and diplomacy, you stick to principles, follow the rules and stay on track. You don't compromise your line and length. You don't do spot fixing like the general's brokers who play both sides. Eventually, you take a wicket. That's how real advocacy works. So whenever you see someone doing this kind of work, anywhere in the world, appreciate them. Don't say, but, or downplay their efforts. This kind of environment building is necessary, and even if not today, the results will surely come tomorrow. Stay hopeful. As I mentioned earlier, sources are now reporting that Field Marshal is coming to the United States. In this regard, many meetings have been held between members of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, and the Pakistani community here. Some of them also spoke with me. Everyone is extremely anxious and determined to stage a strong protest when he arrives in Washington, D.C. Preparations have already begun. In fact, one individual even called me and said that they are getting a truck ready, the kind that carries big posters and images. That truck will also roam around Washington, D.C. this time, so as soon as the date of his arrival becomes clear, a massive protest is expected to take place. You might shake your head when you hear this. Yes, our dear Baji Maryam. We often criticize her, political differences aside, but today I genuinely felt sorry for her. She is struggling terribly, whether it's about common sense, education or exposure. And honestly, it's not even her fault. Her father, Nawaz Sharif, likely never read a proper book in his life, nor was he known for intellectual engagement. So under his tutelage, what wisdom could she have gained? Then she married Captain Safdar. Now you've all heard him speak and know how wise he is. That gives you an idea of the level of exposure she would have had. She had already failed out of medical college and didn't pursue any further education. Then came marriage, and exposure-wise, Her husband wasn't much help either. To this day, both Captain Safdar and Maryam have shown no signs of intellectual growth. In fact, she seems to have regressed intellectually. Now you may ask, what's the point of this long preamble? Well, today in Lahore, Maryam Nawaz did a symbolic walk on the ring road, or rather she called it a symbolic walk, but it was essentially a drive. She sat in the front seat of a luxury vehicle, the same one for which she had tyres worth 30 million PKR installed. Flags of Pakistan and the government of Punjab were flying on the car as she waved from inside. This convoy included around 700 to 800 government vehicles and just as many motorcycles. Yes, you heard that right. 700 to 800 vehicles and bikes followed the Chief Minister on the ring road, which was shut down entirely for this event. Videos were made, TikToks were recorded, and Maryam kept waving from inside like someone filming a prank. This drive was held in the name of environmental protection. Yes, the Environment Protection Authority, which she created, supposedly to combat pollution. She led this pollution-heavy rally on its behalf. When someone lacks education and common sense, this is what happens. To fight pollution, she ended up creating more of it. The convoy caused traffic diversions, fuel wastage, increased carbon emissions, and extreme inconvenience to the public. And all of this was done in the scorching Lahore heat. If nothing else, at least feel pity for her. She's desperate, uneducated, and lacks exposure. And all of this chaos is the result. A major fallout has occurred between President Trump and Elon Musk. And well, this isn't a metaphor. It's a real and serious conflict. If you recall, until the end of May, Elon Musk was working closely with President Trump. A department called DOGE had been created under him to cut government expenditures. President Trump has been in office for nearly 5 months now, and during this time, Elon Musk was constantly seen by his side, along with his son. It even seemed like Trump had made Musk a part of his inner family. He was always around. Some of our analyst friends, including Moeed Pirzada, speculated this wouldn't last. One said the fallout would occur within 3 months, another within 6. Both turned out to be right, as the conflict broke out somewhere between 3 to 6 months. The issue appears to be that both Trump and Musk are narcissistic personalities, and a clash was, frankly, inevitable. The tipping point was Trump's new big and bold tax cut bill. Musk harshly criticized it, arguing it would add to America's debt. Trump didn't take this well and fired back, calling Musk a disappointment and useless. Now things are escalating. Rumors suggest that the government subsidies and exemptions Tesla enjoys might be withdrawn by Trump. It's clear this feud is intensifying and both are fiercely outspoken. Musk is tweeting aggressively, and Trump has lashed out in media interactions as well. Next news, Imran Khan and Bushra Bibi's bail requests. Justice Sarfaraz Dogar, Judge number 15, was specially brought to Islamabad to delay and avoid hearing Imran Khan and Bushra Bibi's bail pleas. This judge provided support to Chaudhry Nizamuddin in slowing down the legal process. Imran and Bushra's bail applications were not heard for 4 months. Today, one day before Eid, the hearing was scheduled, conveniently so that holidays would begin and the matter could be delayed until September. However, Imran Khan disrupted this whole plan with a bold statement. During his court appearance, he revealed that when Field Marshal Asim Munir was about to be removed from his post, he contacted Zulfi Bukhari and requested a meeting with Bushra Bibi. He wanted Bushra to intercede on his behalf so he wouldn't be dismissed. When the message was delivered to Bushra Bibi, she responded that she had nothing to do with such matters and that only Imran Khan handled official business. Today, Imran Khan publicly stated, in court and to the media, that Asim Munir is taking revenge on Bushra Bibi for not helping him. He said Bushra Bibi has been kept in solitary confinement for 14 months in inhumane conditions. She is given dirty food, muddy water, and even her prison cell is infested with bugs that have caused foot infections. He accused a specific prison colonel of being appointed by Asim Munir to inflict this cruelty in revenge. Imran Khan's tweet, which we're sharing with you, says that Bushra is being punished for a crime she never committed. Asim Munir is using prison staff to exact personal revenge on both him and his wife. He also criticized journalists who had prematurely claimed that Imran would be released before Eid. We had already told you those reports were false. But some respected figures also made those claims. We'll explore in detail tomorrow how and why those false stories were planted, and by whom. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.